October 18th, 1982, East Falkland. A British infantry company is trapped on a frozen ridge under relentless Argentine machine gun fire. Visibility is collapsing. Radio traffic is pure chaos. Officers are already discussing retreat. Then, the mountain starts shaking. Not from tanks, not from airstrikes, from 6 lightweight British artillery guns firing so violently their barrels glow in the freezing night. Over the next several hours, more than 7,000 shells slam into Argentine positions. Entire trench lines disappear beneath explosions. Survivors later described the sound as continuous thunder. The gun doing it all weighed less than 2 tons. And more than 40 years later, that same British weapon is humiliating Russian artillery in Ukraine. Not because it fires bigger shells, because it survives. By the late 1960s, Britain knew its old artillery was becoming obsolete. Existing pack howitzers lacked range, accuracy, and mobility. Helicopter warfare was evolving fast, and British commanders needed something radically different. So engineers at Fort Halstead designed a gun around one idea: get in, fire fast, vanish before the enemy reacts. The result was the L118 Light Gun, a 105mm towed howitzer that looked almost too small to matter. But the numbers told another story. The gun could be deployed in under 40 seconds. It weighed roughly 1,900 kilograms, light enough for helicopters to sling beneath them across mountains and rough terrain. Its crew of 6 could fire round after round with frightening speed. And then there was the gun itself. The L19 barrel gave the weapon a vicious punch for its size. Firing high-explosive 105mm shells at incredible velocity, the recoil slammed backward with a violent metallic crack that British crews compared to getting hit in the chest. The shell wasn't massive compared to Soviet 152mm artillery, but it was accurate, fast, and terrifyingly responsive. Airburst rounds shredded infantry hiding behind rocks. Smoke rounds blinded enemy positions. Illumination rounds turned night into daylight. And at maximum charge, the gun sounded less like artillery and more like a train crashing through steel. The Falklands War made the L118 legendary. British batteries dragged these guns across freezing mud, rocky hills, and winds strong enough to knock soldiers over. Yet the guns kept firing. During the final assaults near Port Stanley, some crews fired nearly 450 shells per gun in a single day. No major breakdowns, no catastrophic failures. One British commander later admitted the artillery saved the entire assault from collapsing. And here's the ironic part. Many Argentine forces were using older Italian howitzers, the exact type Britain had replaced with the L118 years earlier. The British guns outranged them, outfired them, outmoved them. The war turned the L118 from an experiment into one of Britain's most respected battlefield weapons. And if you're enjoying this story so far, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from. These forgotten military engineering stories deserve to be remembered. After the Falklands, the gun went everywhere. Iraq, Afghanistan, Sierra Leone. British crews even hauled them onto rocky mountain positions no heavy artillery could ever reach. Then, something unexpected happened. America bought it too. The US Army adopted its own version called the M119, ordering hundreds of them because the design worked so well. But nobody expected the gun's biggest test would come decades later, in Ukraine. When Russia invaded, analysts assumed heavy Russian artillery would dominate the battlefield. On paper, it should have. Russian self-propelled howitzers carried larger shells, longer range, armoured protection, and massive destructive power. But modern warfare had changed. Drones were everywhere. Counter-battery radars could detect firing positions within seconds. FPV drones hunted artillery relentlessly. A gun that stayed still too long became a coffin. That's where the old British gun suddenly became deadly again. The L119 variant sent to Ukraine could fire several rounds, hook onto a Humvee, and disappear before Russian drones or counter-battery fire arrived. Russian self-propelled guns weighing over 40 tons often needed several minutes to reposition. In modern drone warfare, several minutes is forever. Ukrainian crews quickly realized something shocking. The lighter British gun survived longer than many heavier Russian systems. Not because it was stronger, because it was harder to kill. Crews hid them inside tree lines, under camouflage nets, along narrow dirt roads where larger vehicles couldn't operate. Russian artillery crews inside armoured vehicles became prime drone targets. Some were destroyed before firing a single shot. Meanwhile, the old British light gun kept moving, kept firing, kept surviving. That's the real lesson of the L118. Battlefields change, technology changes, but mobility still wins wars. A gun designed during the Cold War for helicopter assaults in the South Atlantic accidentally became perfect for drone warfare in Eastern Europe. More than 4 decades after British gunners shook the mountains of the Falklands, the same 105mm gun is still echoing across another battlefield. Different war, different enemy, same result.